So here's a quick recap. What to look for, membrane type, your insulation, gutters and downspouts included. We're going to talk about other components, cover boards, coping, skylights. Hello Chicago, I'm Jim from Anchor Point Roofing. Welcome back to another edition on our YouTube channel here, where we talk about all things roofing and roof related in Chicago. Today I want to talk about proposals or quotes that you get from contractors. This is probably the biggest question that we get over and over. You send a proposal to a customer, a lot of times they'll call me or they'll email, Jim, I've gotten 4 other quotes. I don't know how to compare. The pricing is wild. What do I look for in the scope? We do a lot of Zoom meetings, I do, where we'll get on with the Homeowner Association, 4, 5, 15 units, and we'll discuss it and go through each one. Sometimes they'll redact the pricing and the name and share with me what the other contractors have quoted so we can do a nice comparison. I probably have 75 proposals from other contractors, some of it with redacted, some of it not. But my point is, I want to help homeowners answer this question, try to give you the 5 or 6 things that I want to break down and show you that you should look for. And this is going to be for a flat roof proposal. How do we compare proposals for a flat roof here in Chicago? Like I said, this is one of the most common questions we get. Hopefully this will give you a little guidance, provide a little bit of clarity into what to look for. Top 5 things: insulation thickness, or the R value, the thermal resistance that they're going to put on that rooftop for you, include gutters and downspouts. Other components, of course, cover boards, which is like if you're going to put a deck on it, you want a cover board. Copings are involved. Skylights. Sometimes we have HVAC condensers on a flat roof that need to be dealt with. How's the contractor going to quote for that? And then obviously warranty, including the length and the type of warranty that you're going to get. First thing I want to talk about is the membrane type. So we've got 5 here that we kind of see in Chicago. The top 3 are mainly the ones that you're probably going to deal with. Smooth modified bitumen. In fact, I've got one right here. This is smooth modified bitumen, so it's a heat welded product. It's like 1/4 of an inch thick maybe. You heat it with a torch, melts together. This is probably 90% of flat roofs of what we see in Chicago. The second one is a granulated modified bitumen. So it's got the little rocks on it like a shingle roof does. A little more durable, a little more hardy, less maintenance long term. And then we've got the TPO, or thermoplastic. These are the main 3 you're gonna see on a residential roof. It's a little bit thinner, maybe it's 1/8 of an inch. Got some super good reflective properties. We see this more and more coming into the residential side. This has probably been more commercial traditionally, but more and more we're seeing this installed on residential roofs. Really reflective and environmentally friendly because of that. The next type, I want to talk about insulation thickness. You can get the insulation on your roof, the R value, you can get sheets anywhere from a 1/2 inch thick. And generally these come in the size of a piece of plywood, which is 4 foot by 8 foot, 32 square feet. You can get it from a 1/2 inch thick to 2.6 inches thick. And the reason they make it 2.6 quickly is because code today is 5.2 inches. So 2 layers of 2.6 gives you about that much rooftop insulation. The codes aren't always able to be met because they won't make you retrofit your building. I have another video we've made where it talks and goes into depth about what you need from your polyiso. Again, I got a little prop here. This one is, I believe this one is 1.5 inch polyiso. This is what it looks like. It's got a paper side on both sides. Make sure that you understand in the proposal how much polyiso is going on to your roof. Here it is being installed. We stagger the seams. The different R values or thermal ratings. So if you're only putting a 1/2 inch, you're gonna get about 3. The 2.6 inch thick brings you up to an R value of 16. Video for another time. Gutters and downspouts. This one gets missed sometimes. We put it on a separate line item so you can see it. Usually have a picture of the old gutter. Just see if that's included. You want to have a galvanized gutter if it's a flat roof. We see a lot of times where they're aluminum. In some cases that will work, but typically you have so much snow and ice sitting there, you want a nice galvanized gutter that you can heat weld it to it. Kynar gutters, you can choose the color. Kynar makes them a ton of different colors, so you can get one to match. Sometimes it's just a galvanized steel, but you can get white, red, blue, whatever color you want. Here's one that we installed on the garage. This is a 6-inch galvanized gutter on the back of a flat roof modified bitumen. One thing we do here is we put the straps connected right to the inside of here. We'll see a lot of gutters, this is a little off subject, a lot of gutters that come and the straps go under the membrane. That can cause a leak, but anyway, I don't want to get off subject. Here's some of the Kynar colors. You can have them custom made, size, depth, width, and you can choose the color if it's something that's going to be visible and you want to make sure you get the right color. Some of the additional components to look for in the quote. Is there a cover board? If you have a TPO roof and you've got a lot of insulation, the TPO is the white one I talked about, and you imagine building a rooftop deck. We do that a lot in Chicago. We need to use all of our space. So you'll have a nice 3-4 story building, put a rooftop where you can see the skyline or the lake. If you're putting a rooftop deck, we'll install what's called a cover board, a 1/2-inch cover board. A lot of times it's called Dense Deck. That's the product we use. It's a gypsum product and it's really durable, so that when you set that deck on there and you've got your platforms, your newel posts and everything for that deck, it supports it nice and it doesn't sink down into the insulation over time. Is there a base sheet on the roof? If it's a modified bitumen, you're pretty much going to have that, but just another component to look and search for. Do you have metal copings on the roof? It can be another component. Sometimes there's clay copings going around the perimeter of a flat roof. Sometimes there's metal. Has the contractor quoted to replace that, remove it, reinstall the clay copings? Just another little tidbit to look for there. Here's the dense deck I talked about a little bit. So if you can see these layers, you can see here we've got our polyiso. Looks a lot like the piece that I cut here. It's got the paper on it. So here's your insulation. And then the dense deck goes over that. And you see here they're actually installing TPO. So this gives you a durable surface rather than this insulation sort of being soft and pliable. You put TPO over it, this gives you the dense surface to install your deck. Here's the metal copings that I talked about earlier. These were custom made. We did this over in Ukrainian Village also, but sometimes it's not included. Sometimes the contractors take them off, put the old ones back if they're in good shape. This one, we installed new ones. Another thing to look for that line item, are you getting coping? Getting new coping. Obviously skylights, are we replacing the skylights? We always line item to make sure that you understand the skylight's included, the skylight's not. If it's in good shape, sometimes we can put it as optional where you can click it if you want. I'll show you one of our proposals in a bit. Here's one of the most important parts: warranties, workmanship, and materials. So with our flat roof replacements, we always offer a 10-year warranty. If it's something smaller, like a garage, sometimes we'll go 5 years, but a good modified bitumen or TPO roof should last a good 15 or 20 years if it's maintained properly. 10 years is kind of a standard one that we see in Chicago. We also require that we come out and do an inspection every 3 years. So you've got your warranty. On that 3rd year, you call us out, we do an inspection. We don't charge for that, but we will charge if there's some minor maintenance items that need to be done. Usually in year 3, we don't see a lot. In year 6, you're starting to need some maintenance issues. One thing I want to talk about, there is something called an NDL, or a no dollar limit. This is a lot more for commercial. When you have a residential roof that's only 1,500 or 2,000 square feet, it can become costly. But there's one proposal that I have sent to me a few times that I've seen where the contractor in Chicago, I'm not going to mention any names, but look for this. It says in his proposal, hey, we're giving you a 20-year NDL, no dollar limit. And unfortunately, the contractor has never followed through on this. If you look at the proposal and it says, oh, you're going to get a 20-year warranty. I've lost jobs because of this. But then I came back and saw the work a year later because the homeowners had me out. An NDL means that the manufacturer is standing behind it for 20 years. So the manufacturer needs to inspect it. The manufacturer needs to come and improve the final product, and the manufacturer is going to give you paperwork to back that up. That's why the NDLs, a lot of time we just see that on large commercial projects, because it could be an extra $1,000 to $2,000 or $3,000 on a homeowner on a smaller residential roof. So we don't see that a lot. If you get a quote from a contractor and it says you're going to get a 20-year NDL, make 100% sure that you get the paperwork with it. that whoever the contractor says he's using, the manufacturer comes and inspects it, and that you have that. This has been a problem, and I don't mind losing jobs. There's enough work for everyone out there. But when you're saying, oh, we're going to give you a 20-year NDL and then you don't, that's a little scummy. Just look out for that. Obviously, more details, the better generally. You don't want to just overwhelm people. You want to make it easy to digest. But the more details that they're describing the scope, like what's going to be done first. We take everything off. We put it in a trash bin here, hauled off site. Just kind of work it down through the scope in the order of operations that things are going to be executed in. Pricing for hidden site conditions. This is kind of an important one. Let's say we tear the roof off and we find, oh, there's 100 square feet of plywood that needs to be replaced that we didn't anticipate. 3 full sheets. How much is that going to cost? So we put in our scope, okay, it's $7.20 per square foot. If we find 3 sheets, it's 100 square feet. It's going to be about $700 to replace all that, give or take. So you want some of that laid out beforehand. If we have to sister a joist or we have to do framing, we've got pricing laid out in there for there. So, okay, we've ran into a problem we didn't anticipate. We're not just going to come and say, oh, it's $8 grand. We've got most of it in there already, so you know. So look for that too. If things, you know, you discover things at times that you couldn't have anticipated. So we want to try to be transparent with that stuff too. Obviously, clear pricing. We give a lot of options where the homeowner can click on it if you do want this option. Don't click it if you don't want. Photos of repairs needed with the description. So when we're doing a repair on a roof, if we have 7 repairs we're making on that roof, you're going to see a line item for each one. And here's a picture of what it looks like. It's an open seam. It's a pitch pan that needs to be filled, whatever it is. It's got a description, a nerdy description, and then it's got the photo where you can see it. Then when we do the work, come back, we show you the photo of the work and the completed thing. Some roofers do it differently, which is okay. They say, oh, we're gonna charge $5 grand to patch everything on the roof. We like to point out the specific spots, make a video, take a picture of it and say, this is what's going to be repaired. This is the problem. Commercial projects are a little bit different. We'll put in a little bit more details. We have done a few large commercial projects. We'll talk about where all the material is going to be staged for the 3 weeks or 2 months or however long the project is, where the material will be stored, how the debris removal will come off. We do this a lot for residential too, but it's a little more important on larger commercial. You know, sometimes there's time frames where the commercial building doesn't want you working past 6 o'clock or different working hours. So look for that, especially if it's a commercial project. It doesn't apply as much on residential, but you still want some details. So here's a quick recap. What to look for: membrane type, your insulation, gutters and downspouts included. We're going to talk about other components, coverboards, coping, skylights. If there's HVAC condensers on the roof, what are you going to do with this? At times they can just be lifted and we can roof under them. Sometimes if they're in a corner or around, in a corner or around other mechanical stuff, they need to be removed. So make sure there's some descriptions in there if you do have HVAC condensers on your roof. I'd say about half the roofs in Chicago do. And then we talked about warranty. Quickly, I want to show you what one of our one of our proposals looks like. Rather, we call them proposals. We don't just call them quotes. This is the template we use. A lot of this is just for internal for what we use. Are there special order items? So this gets us all in order beforehand, but that's for internal use. You won't see that on your proposal. If you get one from Anchor Point, we put a picture of the building, and then we give a description of what we're thinking, our overall thoughts. This one is, after a thorough evaluation, it's deteriorated, it needs to be replaced. We talk about logistics and setup, permits and site management, how we're going to handle it, who gets the permit, etc., and a general overview of it. So here we are. Here's one thing a lot of people miss. We provide on a proposal, when we go out to check it out, we probably take 50 to 75 pictures. We include that up in the right-hand corner, and we put this because people never see it. It's nice to see pictures or videos of what your roof currently looks like. It provides more transparency. Here's the things that are messed up. Here's why we're recommending it. One of the things we start off is a permit. When is it required? We say on here, boom. A permit is required. Please make sure whoever you work with, you need a permit on this. We've got another video about permits, when and when it doesn't have to be pulled. Pretty much on any flat roof you have to, but that's a generalization. Here we are talking about the materials a little bit. This one was a GAF Everguard TPO 60 mil. We've got a picture of the product and a little description of it. Here's our polyiso. On this particular project, we put 2 inches of polyiso on the roof. Again, a little picture, a little nerdy, but... And here we've quoted for 2 different types. This one is a TPO roof, so we're telling the homeowner, hey, do you want TPO? We also have modified bitumen down here. And then we like to include a picture generally of the roof. This is a TPO roof we finished on the south side, but it's just to show you, you know, the options. And again, here you can see it's optional right here. So this one also, we gave them a modified bitumen and a TPO. And again, it's nice to blow up the pictures and see what's going on. Especially if you have a repair, you can see, oh, there's an open seam. Again, just more transparency. This has got all the details in what to expect, insulation, how we're gonna do it, and it basically walks you through the scope of the order of operations, if you will. Here we included a gutter on this one for $1,500. We've got pictures of the gutter. We want you to see, here's why we were replacing it, and then at the end we'll provide pictures of it being installed and finished. HVAC condensers here to be disconnected and moved by others. At times this will say we can lift them and leave them in place. But look here, we weren't able to, you can't successfully lift these and work around them. You've got so much junk here, so we're saying, hey, we need to find an HVAC contractor to disconnect these, move them. We can move them around a little bit, roof under it, and then they need to be reinstalled. Permits, again, here it is. The city of Chicago, it's $475 to get a permit. We procure it, we take care of everything, do all the legwork. Make sure if it's required you get a permit. I can't stress that enough. The city's really cracking down on permits and contractors that work without it. And unfortunately, in roofing, a lot of contractors just say, you don't need a permit. It is a pain working with the city a little bit. Do your due diligence, do it right, and just get the permit, pay for it. Here's what a little bit we talked about, coping around the outside, coping, stones. Here we're saying, and this I want to back up a little bit. Here's where we're saying like, hey, if we need to replace coping stones, how much is that going to be? So we take some of these off, and let's say as we're taking these off and saving them, 3 of them break. Well, how much is that going to be? So we're laying it out, how much it's going to be. And if we go back up just a little bit, also we had the plywood detailed in here. Inspect and replace all existing routed substrate. We include 1 sheet of plywood generally, but if it's not and we have more, $7.50 per square foot for anything. So look for that kind of transparency inside of your quote to see, hey, when you find something, a hidden site condition, it's in there and you know about what the pricing is going to be. You can't always anticipate every change order and price everything, but you want to do the best you can and be upfront and for the homeowner. That's it. Some of the final things here are, you know, little disclaimers, hidden site conditions. We also have financing if you need it on projects under $25,000. So that's our video for today. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully this has provided a little bit of clarity when it comes to comparing proposals from contractors. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. We answer them all. Also, if you just have questions with other contractors, like I said, a lot of homeowners will redact the name and the price and let us compare all 5 for you and show you what's included, what's not, and where some of them can be different. It's a pretty helpful process and we don't mind doing that. That's it. Thank you for watching, Chicago.